tripping. Definitely tripping. Whoops. Well, this is Big Pontiac, otherwise known as A Wind, otherwise known as Time Lord. Um, for those that have never watched me before, I am also the Galactic Daddy-O, sitting on my galactic patio, welcoming all of you to the galactic patio. I am also the holder of the spiritual ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. So good evening. I've got about 30, 40 minutes where I can go. Hey, what's happening, PJ? Hey, James, brother James, what's happening? Thank you for joining me. So I thought I'd come on just this evening and just show some practical things. Couple of different practical things. It's like one thing that I know most people don't think of is when they go out, and I was gonna say this for tomorrow, but I'll get this out now. Maybe I'll bring it up tomorrow too. But like people should see that we're constantly spiritually attacked, constantly, and most people don't even realize it. What the Rodney Piper movie, They Live, they only showed the attack if you was able to see the negative and see, expose the negative, and you could see that kind of spiritual attack because it was like they was alerted you was awake, and I guess woke ain't even the word, but they was alerted that you was in your knowing. And I would say it probably happens more often than not, especially as we go through our day. Just if you imagine, just our language is a hex. Just our language in itself is a hex. So you are constantly around hexes. I mean, you trying to vibe to some music on the radio, and you just hearing hexes to a beat. I mean, you really are just hearing hexes to a beat. And so, how are you spiritually protected? I'm looking for something. I know I brought it up here, but maybe not. But like, how are you spiritually protected? I mean, and even home watching TV, like even with your internet. I mean, remember, uh, your internet Wi-Fi goes through walls. I mean, that's still like the problem with 5G. Is truly it going far enough to get what's really truly a 5G signal. I mean, they have what is it, 6G, like you, it's a signal on signal kind of thing. And that's why it's not out as much as people try to think. It's not out there as much because that's how the Wi-Fi boxes was. It would give you the best ever from signal to signal where it could see. But there are so many spiritual attacks. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do to practically protect yourself from these kind of attacks? Just from a practical standpoint, like, what would you do? And, there's some simple things that you can do. I even go to say this in some ways, even just cologne, because when you put cologne on, it will mix with your pheromones, and you, like, yes, they'll smell the essence of the cologne or perfume, but it would be mixed with what you smell like. Sometimes something like that is enough. I couldn't find my other stuff, so I had to get some more eucalyptus. But sometimes even like some people carry little, you can put these on like a little ball and carry it around. And for some people, that's enough. And it doesn't have to be this big, but this is shungite. Shungite. And this is probably the most protective stuff you can wear. I'll amend what I said about bracelets. I think multiple bracelets, it is probably a corruption in that. Like if you maybe wore one on both hands, that would probably be okay. But we seeing the people, and they're wearing them like this. And I understand if you want to wear 7 chakras, if you are into the chakras, but yeah, it's the corruption I see wearing too many. I'll put it at that. But shungite is probably the best, and you can get it. I mean, you don't need this big chunk, of course. And even tourmaline. Like I was sitting next to an African sister at the basketball game this week, and I was like, she had some tourmaline on. It was kind of sweet. I was like, oh, what is that? And she's like, what? And I was like, she didn't even know. So she just had somebody gave it to her. She just wearing it. And see, that's a subject by itself. It's like, why are you taking this crystal, or why did you buy it? And if it's a crystal, why? And now a lot of people say the color attracts you, but you're working with energy, and you're working with energy aimed to be released kind of to you. And here you are not going about it in a way to accept it. Hey, woke. I don't see them giving him up. Hey, Lorenzo, thank you for joining. Harden goes to Philly. I just don't see they put too much into Harden. I just don't see them giving him up. I think they're posing, posturing until the trade deadline, but I just don't see him moving. I just made a video before I came on where, because Philly lost today, which was interesting. Uh, if they do Hardy for Simmons, that's probably going to be the best way they're going to do it. So, but yeah, so, and oh, let me say, even black kyanite. They're smaller pieces, of course. You don't need a piece this big. They're smaller pieces. But this is just some simple things that can give you just some basically spiritual protection. Even wearing the color black with the idea that it would umbrella with you could give you some slight protection. So I wanted to put that out there. And let me see how I can do this. So, I work with pendulums. And, as all work, it evolves. And so there's this one. And this is just triple quartz, just triple quartz. And again, quartz is an amplifier. I've had these things for so long, I about need some new ones. This is Vesuvianite or idocrys. And the quartz are the amplifiers. And, I've showed, over the years, I've showed kind of how you can get yes, no, maybe. And started working with this book. And then this, of course, this book has graphs. And like this graph has energy and dynamism, professional, social adaptability. And you kind of that's how you can see it. And you kind of there's a 0 point, and you kind of ask the question, what is my social adaptability? And the energy of the pendulum, surprisingly, goes more than just left, right, or yes, no, maybe. It actually kind of, as you see here, it's kind of going to one of the answers, which means to self-centered, eccentric. And so, it's a way to expand the use. Now this one, right here, this one is set up more like this, with the 0 point being in the center. And so what I do is, these are kind of all the questions over here, and it's got a list of all the metals. And so I kind of let the pendulum kind of go over each one of them. You see, it's not taking much. And then I get in the center and ask the question, which metal is best for me to use? And seeing if I can pick up the energy of it, which metal is best for me to use? And try to get a little clarification, try to feel the center point. And it's kind of, for a quick reading, it's kind of going to platinum. Okay. Never worked with platinum. Own a little bit, fire as stocks, but yeah. So this is a way for everybody who messes with them to get a little expansion from them. So I wanted to throw that out there. Necessary evil. Hey, James Gant. I've always favored black, if not dark color, to me. I realize interesting. I've always favored black. It's not a dark color to me. I realize I realize though when I am not vibrating my best, that's when I lean towards cooler colors. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. No, that's not strange at all. That's not strange at all. Hey, Dr. Sinister. No, that's not strange at all. Like one thing I was gonna show too is I got some more cards. And like I used to give a divination every night. And this is like the stuff I've been messing with. I messed with the days of the weeks. And one thing I like about this gives a idea of color to wear for the day, because there are colors. I know the radio station used to kind of follow that thing, but this kind of gives an idea of colors to wear every day, or because it's this card and it's this day. And I don't know if you want to call it an entity, but it is this energy's day. There's colors for it. There's colors for it. Yeah, yeah. And no, it's perfectly understandable. And you saying that it don't feel, yeah, like it's like I like when I first get into the black, I really do. And I find myself the same way today. Today, it was kind of, they to see me, they'd have been like Mason, like, because I pretty much what I bought, I love what is it called? Underwater Vintage. Macy sells this stuff, but they're getting rid of it this time of year. And I bought this jacket. I looked at it for a while because I didn't like the snaps. Now, one of my closest friends in Michigan, I saw him have almost identical jacket, but his jacket, like my jacket, is only fuzzy in the body. But it's like this fuzzy kind of stuff we used to have as warm-ups, like 40 years ago. Our warm-ups was made out of this fuzzy stuff. His jacket had all of it. Mine just has it here. Then it has like the satin, the satin.
Are you talking about that shit that Puma hats was made on?
Okay.
Kango hats?
You're interrupting.
That's the fuzzy stuff.
See you.
I was helping you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I was wearing today. And some big sweats. It was 45 here, 44. And buzzing all day, doing stuff all day. From the time I got up, had to make a few calls, do some business, and then had to I had to go into the city. And so a good 20, 25 minutes to go into the city. It's funny with gas. I get gas at the reservation, and the gas in the reservation is $2.21. I got gas yesterday. Down here where I live is $3.30 something, $3.34. So 14 cents cheaper just to drive an extra 2 miles out the way. So talk about Southly, just what? Let's talk about the sun they just put up in China. Hey, Jody, that's the sun. It ain't just put up. They put it up about 2 months ago, if that's what it is. I think it's people are looking at the simulator so much that they had to have some type of answer to that. And so, of course, they shot some shit in the air and calls it something. The simulator's been going, I would dare say, I'm pretty sure in the 90s we had the sun. I was living in North Carolina where I was exposed to more sun. I feel that the sun was still there in the 90s. I would say, wow. I would say since 10, maybe. Since 10, I saw a little difference. And maybe even not that long ago, because when I saw two suns, that was only 3 summers ago. Like that was the same time we had a thunderstorm that lasts 4 hours. I don't know if anybody, a thunderstorm. It was so long. It sounded like bombs almost. It was almost like, was there some kind of galactic war going on behind that shit? But I saw 2 suns. I saw one sun go behind the other one. And they weren't going together. They were kind of going different ways. Or let me see. No, yeah, they passed. Either one went forward or the other. Yeah, that's what it was. One went a little faster than the other one. So you had one here, and then one went faster around that one. So it could be less. I need to find a reservation around here. Yeah, we had beautiful weather in my neck of the woods, somewhere in the 50s here. We were looking for that all week. It was only 44, 45. Got 45. I think China's sun is to bend space. They're trying to do that. They say it was made from plasma. They trying to bend space. They trying to do that at CERN. CERN is open up to all that to let them demons out. There's been movies where they gotta do something to let the demons out, and that's what CERN is. CERN is trying to find a to. But I mean, there's demons like we are run by demons. It ain't the trick about Satan, making people think he don't exist. No, it's people realizing that all this is run by pretty much demons. Yes, sir. Yeah, Jeff, what's happening? So I mean, they have other means to do that, but it could be possible too. Yeah, I could get off into that, figuring out. Yeah, yeah, it's possible. Possible. It's hard to say. It's hard to say with that. They got it from the plasma. Well, I didn't know they had a plasma container. I didn't know they had some shit. They was like, well, let's go get some plasma because the only place I know to get plasma is from, hey Jeff, is for volcanoes. So they got some shit they can put the plasma in, and then there's some kind of machine that they can add it all together, and it stays together. They got some shit like that. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that at all. Could be, could be, could be. Here we go. Could be. It's hard to say. Ah, I couldn't find this book, but only in an ebook. But I talked about this before. His name is Dan Modella. It's a dude named Dan Modella. And if anybody can find a book, give me a line. And I got to look on Amazon now. But it's called Interference: How Organized Crime Influences Professional Football. And he goes back and shows how the leagues. Oh, here it is. The league was made with all these gamblers. Like I said before, the girl from the dragon tattoo, she's a Rooney and a Myra. Her name is Myra Rooney. She comes from both gambling families. Both of those families own professional football team. Both the original Rooney and the original Myra, heavy gamblers. And it seems like that never went away, that they still gamble on their own sport. I mean, so that ain't went away. They got plasma clinics. They got plasma clinics. Yeah. Shit, man. I think around here they give you damn near $100 for plasma now. I think it's about $100 now they give you for plasma. Uh, my ex is mad, like he wasn't working for a minute, so I think you can give plasma like 4 times a month. She was making that motherfucker go give plasma 4 times a month. And she was telling me about this shit. She's like, yeah, he got, I gotta feed him a little more in the days he gets plasma. Now I think you can do that shit twice a week. Now, if you don't think that shit is fucking some motherfucking demon shit, some vampire shit, Yeah, I think that is his name, researcher Danny Madolia. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is his name. He wrote a bunch of shit though. And it like I read, like, was seeing his other shit, and I'm thinking, oh, this dude is kind of controlled opposition in a way. But yeah, the book, ebook, you could get it on ebook, but you couldn't get the book. So I'm gonna start asking around and looking around for it to get the book. But yeah, I had to go to the dentist and shit. Had to take the young one to the dentist, and so she wasn't able to go to basketball practice because they called me, because we like, I got there early. Like her appointment wasn't until 2. We got there about 1:35. I was like, fuck it, let's just go in. Shit, my appointment wasn't until 2:30, and her appointment was at 2, so it's 1:35, 1:40. Shit, they was like, hey, they called me. They was like, Brian. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And so they took me back. I was done by about 8, 10 after. And so they had taken her back, and she was acting nervous. Dennis, she don't really like Dennis and shit, so they had to give her the sleeping gas. And so my only pause was because I knew we had to get the work done for her. But my only pause was for basketball practice. That should leave you a little bit of headache and shit, headache-ish and shit. And so she didn't go to basketball practice, which kind of messes with her conditioning and shooting. But that's all right. rather have her, feeling good instead of feeling bad. So how long I've been going? I ain't gonna go too long. I ain't gonna go too long tonight. But yeah, that's a oh, and the book that Tasha gave out a book, and I don't know if you guys are hip to Sapero. I must have put the book back in the shelf, but this is like they call the Sapero Mounds and Chakia in St. Louis. Like this stuff almost proves that the omen came into the Americas. I mean, when you look at Sapero, and I'm sorry I didn't bring the book, but there's a book, Recovering Ancient Sapero, a Native American art, ritual, and cosmic renewal. But what this actually is these are pictures of the artifacts found at Shapiro because they was able to loot it. They've got some of the artifacts back. But this is a part of history they've hid. They've hid forever. And what they found is, like when you look at the artifacts from Shapiro, is you find, let me see, we close enough? See, his head is, they press their heads in the back. They press their heads to get out of the reptile brain. You see here, and the same in this picture here. The Mayans and Oman did this. That's why you have other people claiming to be that, and they didn't do that. They didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? They weren't part of it. But this is a part of American histories that shows you how ancient this stuff is. And there was, them coming up from the South America. I mean, we already know they went all up and down the coast. Again, I've told stories where you see them going all the way over into Europe, and they took the northern route. Again, I talk about the giants. You see giant age copper. I mean, copper, hundreds of thousand years old. They found it in Kemet. They found this copper that only giants would have had access to. This old ancient copper. Alinard, what happened to the guy who set the all black school on fire? Now that I don't know. That I don't know. I don't know about that. Wow. I never heard about that. In Minnesota? Wow. Now what we had is they just shot the boy. So last Thursday, I want to say we had a killing in Richfield where they showed some Latinos killed these guys. They put one in critical condition and they killed the other. They killed this boy. And it's like a husband and a wife or a girlfriend, boyfriend. And the dude they killed was in high school. So that didn't make sense. So there was a killing in St. Paul, maybe the week before that, maybe 2 weeks ago. And that's the brother Locke that just got killed, where he picked his gun up when they entered. They found the 17-year-old they was looking for, but it was the St. Paul killing that what they went in that apartment. They had info that the killer was supposed to be up in there. And so when when you go in on a warrant, especially a no-knock warrant like that, and it was like they didn't even smash the door in, they just, undid the key. So wasn't like 1, 2, kicking the door in and shit. No, they had the fob, the key to open the motherfucker. And then they saw him with a gun. And I mean, what do you look at your natural reactions would be? The only light that was shining was the flashlights on him, on their rifles. And maybe the guy had the pistol might have had, went double. I don't know. So I can put myself in both situations. I don't think it's as practice as what the Floyd thing was. I think that Floyd shit was practice. Hey, Liquid Fire, greetings to you. So I don't know about that. But that's what's been happening. They had 1,000 people march downtown on Sunday. There's a lot of heat on the mayor to get rid of no-knock warrants. What's the difference, though? I mean, when they knocked, they was going to then open the door. I mean, I guess that woke him up. I don't know if he would have shot at him. Maybe to just put the gun in the couch, hit it or some shit. Well, you wouldn't even have to hide it. He got the paperwork for it, so you wouldn't even have to hide it. So I don't know. I don't know if that would have saved his life. Hey, Derek, that's right, the Hero Twins. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if that would have saved the young man's life. It was like you talking about the wrong place at the wrong time. That was totally wrong place at the wrong time. Totally bad timing. Uh, some of the worst kind of luck. So hard one to understand from a humanity perspective, because again, you can look for both sides, but it's like we have so many. Like I told Zach, that was like Zach was wherever that shooting was up in Washington State. Zach went there. He wasn't in the store, but he was around the store and interviewed a few people, and he was trying to see, is this real or not? And it was kind of interesting. Like I've said before, and I commented, it was like last year he tried to give the word out before a playoff game that people was finally able to go see a game. You understand the game? So this was after lockdown, some of the first games. People wouldn't hear you. I mean, people generally just wouldn't hear you. People had been locked down, and now you got a chance to get out, not only get out, but get out and go to a game. So they wouldn't hear you because of being locked down. But what he recently did, it was perfect timing. He was right there and did the reporting. It's good timing. Good timing. So, but did it happen? Did it not happen? It's kind of hard to say. They give us so many false flags that it's like, they want you now to doubt. To be the doubting Thomas, be the doubting Thomas. Doubting Thomas was Jesus' twin. He's like, motherfucker, you got to say that shit and say that shit with stories. Like, damn, you don't understand nothing. I got to tell stories, parables. So, I have one more question. How come applications, they don't have Hebrews on the application? They don't have Italians on the applications? I think they only put, damn, do they even put Jewish faith on applications? A lot of applications don't put that anymore. Okay, you can get away from me doing all that. That's kind of nasty. What are you over here for? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they put Jewish faith. I think years past. We got to go live again after I get off this 7-day schedule. Yeah, hit me up. Yeah, I can get you in. Hit me up. We'll have a good conversation. And you said you had that hat I had. I got that hat. I had the Pontiac put on it. And yeah, I got a good deal on that hat. I could have got one, but when it came out, because I had to renew, because you get 20% off when you renew with Lids. So it was time for me to renew. So, I got taxed the extra 10, but it was okay. I buy enough hats that it's worth it. The hat, I go in there, the hats be 44, 45 bucks, and I get it for 30 something. But I'm designing a hat. I'm gonna get another hat with Pontiac on it. I just got that one with Pontiac on the side, but I'm gonna design one that just with Pontiac on it. And it's new hair too, because the new hairs with the discount I can get them for 20 because they're 30, but the discount I give them for 25, and then the embroidering is like 14. So I've come up with a design I think it'd be cool to put Pontiac out there. So yeah, so yeah, I'm putting that together. They didn't really have any. Yeah, the Southwest stuff was mostly what they had. No woodland stuff. Oh, and let me tell you, it's funny reading this book, which is so fascinating because it is in my part of the country but reading this book, now we know there's a picture of his brother. There's actually a picture of him. And I mean, this dude is, wow, darker than Denzel. I mean, a really dark brother. And I was reading the book, and this is how discernment, just you can kill him because you can read it. You have discernment. So what he says is, and it's a passage that says, this one. Now, we already know from a picture that this cat is dark. You find real pictures of him, he's dark. Dark, kind of woolly hair. But so there's no pictures of him. But you see how, again, they got him native. Well, in the book, there's a line that said, and again, he's going through research, and some research he found said he was darker than most. I read that. I was like, oh shit, they're telling. He says, but others says he was very fair. But I was like, Now, evidence, we know his brother was very dark. And this is same mother, same father. Their father got killed. He went to raid some Europeans, more British, and got killed during the raid. So these two dudes, and then their mother ended up leaving them, these two brothers. And then this cat, who ended up becoming a prophet, he shot his eye out. They give him his right eye, but he shot his eye out with a bow and arrow as a child. But he later became a prophet. And that's why I don't know why the older pictures of him ain't in here. I'm kind of like, yeah, none of these pictures. This one a little bit. But they got pictures of this dude as an old dude. I mean, maybe my information's wrong. I could be, maybe I didn't do enough research. But we know they was dark brothers. But it just shows you. It just shows you. And the thing is, like, what's interesting is the Europeans, Washington and them, would make a treaty that says you can't come past the Ohio River. And you got all these poor Americans that think it's just free land. As I made a video about in the Magnificent Seven, there's a character named John Horn. And when they first see John Horn, they tell him, like, collecting scalps has been illegal for a long time. In this book, they talking about parts of when they were trying to take the Midwest, that they were still, charging $30, $40 for scalps. It was like both sides would just be unmerciful to each other. And they say that's where Tecumseh was different. He didn't believe in all that torturing and shit. It was like he saw one man that was about to be killed and they was going to torture him. He tried to talk his people out of it and they wouldn't do it. So he took a pistol out and just shot that motherfucker. It's like, fuck torturing him. You want to kill these motherfuckers, just kill them, but don't torture them. Because it was like, who can be the most inhumane? This message is sent back and forth between that. Who can be the most inhumane? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Arcady, what's happening? Don't know if you're a troll or not, Arcady. We'll see. I'm not gonna go too much. Okay, I was only gonna go about 40 minutes anyway. But I mean, this is like, you look at it like nothing was ever done either. And then eventually they made all the Indians just go further west. But it's like it was always a war thing with them. There was no negotiating. Like, their negotiations would be like they gave up most of Tennessee and most of Kentucky. That's how they would cheat them. And the people doing the deal wouldn't really understand. They really wouldn't understand. It's a bot. Oh, okay. We can deal with bots. Okay. And so this is what we see from what happened in America. And this is what they want to get rid of in the schools. They don't want these kind of detailed stories. So that's the part of America they want erased. And they don't want the new generations knowing this kind of stuff. Knowing that the dude on the $20 bill illegally invaded another country. Because at the time, Florida was run by the Spanish. And he illegally took up American army into a foreign country and attacked the Indians. Definitely. And so, this is what they don't see. This is part of what they don't want taught either. They definitely don't want the European slavery taught. Because, I mean, Super Sly brought it out, but I've been talking about that. When you look at the Irish, they try to give rosy stories, when they talk about European slaves. Oh, they were indentured servants, and she married him and he died, and she married another and he died, and then she got all this land. See, it wasn't that bad. Yes, she had a rough trip over on the boat. She was in the jail part. And yes, she might have had to hold for a year or two, but did you see how she ended up? I mean, these are the type of fairy tale stories they try to tell. Whereas they benefited just as much. And not only did they benefit, and I've said this before, the suppressed Southerners are who was given the power after Reconstruction. It wasn't the total elites, because they had destroyed the elites. most the elites was destroyed, and their businesses and their property. And this is where the hatred was. I mean, this is where the early unions come from, because this was not the skilled crap. This was not the skill force. This was the lowest skill force that existed in the South. They were unnecessary for the most part. If they personally weren't landowners, they were the lowest skilled people. That's why they try to tell you they was, what was the word, where they was the manager of slaves. That's why they try to tell you they had them kind of positions to make them sound. But again, I say, look at Gone with the Wind, when she says, don't talk to them, they're poor white trash. We don't talk to them. That shows you. And sadly, they were the ones that fought the most, because they fought for social upgain. Be a hero, rise in stature. So, kick rocks. Bang, bang, bang. And so there's just some of the history, it's just part of the history. Doesn't change anything talking about it. It's just understanding how it was done. And I mean, the sickness, I mean, you still see the sickness. There's no difference. We going through the same thing as they went through. And there weren't as many people died of sickness as they try to say. A lot of murder, but not as many sickness dying. As I said, my ancestor, George No-Nose, Black George, he survived. Took his nose. His nose turned into a big pock. Wonder what he's smelling. Get his mug medicine. It's like, I'm not paying big money for these cats. These cats one cost me $25. I got him free. So I love them. But when it's their time, like my mother, she took her cat in and paid a couple $100 for it to get cremated. I'm not like that. They come and get my trash on Mondays. That's where they would go. Stay longer, have the history knowledge. That's nice to say. It was said that they had more trouble from than they did from the black ones. Yeah, somewhat. I mean, conscriptions. Well, thank you. Thank Leah Leonard. Thank you. I mean, that's really where the hate comes from. If you see like what they set up, it was to suppress the skilled people. And I like World War I is just so sad, because I think the flu that they gave people, they was scared, because I think it was 1 million men was sent to World War I, 300,000 brothers. And I really think part of that sickness was to kill a lot of them men so they wouldn't come back and take over the government. I really think it was. I really think what they called the Spanish flu, and we know it came from the soldiers had it first in Kansas at a fort. And so we know that the government gave it. And I think that's why, because they did not want to have 1 million trained people to fight these mugs. They really didn't have a real government. Not then. I mean, it took them about a year to get fighting forces. But I think that's what, and we know there was an attack on the brothers. We know that for a fact, There was an organized attack on World War I veterans because they were scared. And I've said this many times, but I want this to soak in more than anything, because you have stories of veterans just sitting at the train station and with his uniform on and getting lynched. And it was because two things, the image of the shuffling, lazy person. Well, obviously, if brothers can be in the military and get these ribbons and these medals, then obviously the stereotype that ain't shit is kind of a lie. But more than likely, they wanted to kill as many of them soldiers so that soldiers wouldn't rebel, because they were used to shooting at Europeans, because most of the black troops fought under French command. It's sickening to hear my coworkers teaching schools. I'm freaking glad Black History Month now, several reasons. Don't get started on that doggone national anthem. Yeah, liquid fire. You got a good point. It is like, why is this federal song in every high school? Why? What does this state high school, state, and it does take federal funds, but why does this federal hex, and it's a type of hex, why does it need to be played? And it's no difference as, remember, before Hitler was saluting, remember, at first, and look up the picture of the first Memorial Day. Look up that picture. The first Memorial Day, you'll say all the black students who started Memorial Day that buried Northern soldiers, the flag is out, and they're doing that, Nazi saluting. You can find, before the war, you can find pictures in the 20s, pictures of children Nazi saluting. This is how they taught it. When they put this magic in, this is how they taught. Children, sit down, put your arm up, and say it. Remember, some they were taught you to put your hand over your heart. That's what they traded. They took this away and said, oh, put your hand over your heart. Anybody remember doing that? Putting your hand over your heart? That's what you're supposed to do. Very similar. But this is, this is this country. And I don't have hate for the country. A lot of things I love. I talked about that the other day. And what do I say? I should get that put on a hat or a shirt. Demons can do good work. Demons ain't always in the negative side. I've said that to Sly on his show back in 2017. Demons can do good work. Look at Bedazzled. Look at Damn Yankees. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. So it ain't like they always on the negative side. With the hand over the heart. Would the hand over the heart be considered ritual? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It wants you to, it wants you to, because it had to be your right hand. Had to be your, well, of course, this is a little harder, but had to be your right hand. And if you look at the cadence that you say it in, they really want you to love the country. See, you're closing energy. You're closing this energy. And they want you to hold that energy, that love for the country, into your heart. So the more you do it, the more that love, because you're holding in that energy. So absolutely, you should see me at work perfectly sit down for the Pledge of Allegiance. I used to sing the anthem, mixed martial arts fighting events just before the pandemic. Okay, yeah, you can get that in the hustle. Name one famous demon who is good. That's not what I said. Ritual spells. That's a Masonic symbol, that hand over the heart. Yes, it is. Is Masonic. Actually, it probably goes back to when you see them like this, it's part of that. Goes back to Babylon, Kemet. I didn't say famous demon. No, what I said was demons can do good work. Demons ain't always just the making bad times. Demons can do good work, and I show bedazzled. And of course, the metaphor is don't use the demons because the shit never turns out right, even though they can give you this life. But demons can do things that will help manifest for you. People use demons all the time to manifest. Better question, why do we have to work to live on earth? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I talked about that the other night. Why do we have to pay to live? We are the only species. Matter of fact, the pets got it better than us. The pets, they ain't got to do shit. And you got to clean up the thing. And you got a dog, you walk it and pick up its shit like, nothing, Richard Pryor had a joke to talk about people that worked at the piss labs, and how they'd be so nonchalant. And he was like, shit, I would take that shit with the prongs. I would be holding the piss with the prongs, like motherfuckers be walking around the piss, just some gloves, and the piss be getting on their hands. But yeah, like people that take a plastic bag and just, grab the shit up with just the bag. I need at least a rubber glove. That's why I don't like riding horses. I don't like sitting on something that can shit. You sitting on it and the motherfucker just shit like, like acres of shit, And sometimes the shit fly up and hit you and shit, So I don't really like that. Sitting on something that it can shit. Because it's like you looking at the horse in front of you and it's shit, and you got to be thinking, well, mine's probably doing the same thing. They ate at the same time. So that's what happens. As I said, I didn't have a whole lot tonight. Oh yeah, let me get into this. Okay, so we all should evolve in our studying. Like when I was given the time walking papers, I just didn't stop. I mean, it really opened up, and it really, this whole De Aguirre's dude really opened it up to him. The Mind Factor, excellent book. But I bring this up only because now I know at times I use other card sets, but a lot of times, I'll tell the given direction. I'll tell people what to give in direction. I got a little lazy and stopped doing it, but and this is, I've been working for these glyphs for at least 4 years now. And so even though I have 2 other basically South American sets, this set came, kind of caught somebody working with it, and it's these same glyphs that I've been working with, but in the card form. And yeah, and these names, I know all these names, and these cards are strong. These cards are really strong. It's yeah. This is going to be a good way to communicate, bring information in, really good way. And like even some of the cards, it's just how how you count. But each number, they also give a real meaning to too, which is kind of cool. And based on, the Mayan counting system, this would be 13. The slashes are 5 each. And so each one, again, like this one says greater cycles, and this is 14. So each one of them has a kind of a meaning to it too. And I just have other glyphs. Like this is called New Myth, one of the portal cards. So great energy with this. Great energy with this. And so I'm just being a little more active with everything. The pendulums, the cards. We're just working with energies. Of course, the crystals. Oh, PJ, PJ, I went to Dick's Sports yesterday because when I go out to the mall, I always go to Dick's Sports, and just to see, because what I wanted to get, and the new orders came in. I was too late, and I still ain't been able to find the shit on eBay. But it's the sweaters they wore when they played outside here, and they say Minneapolis and St. Paul, so they kind of say both. But uh, uh, so they have the Timberwolves section. So I see this outfit, and this is funny how they'll do you. So this is a fantastic, I think it's called Fanatics. I think it's called Fanatics. So this is a fucking jacket. I don't remember what I paid. But the only difference in the one I saw in the store was it's a Nike. I mean, it's identical. This stuff, the green, the zip, it was identical to this. I mean, it was the same coat. I paid maybe 20, 30 at the most. I looked at that coat. That coat was like $150 because it had Nike right here. Nike right there made it worth all that more. It's like, well, damn. So sometime damn Nike. Oops. Oh my. So it just shows you. Yep, the labels is what we must pay for. Yep. Oh, somebody did it for me. Thank you. Oh. Oh my. There we go. Yeah, the labels are definitely what we pay for. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for getting the troll out there. Yeah, we definitely pay for the labor. I mean for the labels. So that's why sometimes like right now, the one thing that you really can't get a discount on is Levi jeans. Levi jeans is pretty much $60 unless you find a pair at Marshalls. Marshalls sometimes has them. Labels and symbols. Yep, yep, yep. But other than that, you straight gonna pay for a pair of Levi's. Levi's don't even rarely have sales. Just got my first Pendulum amethyst clear quartz pendulum on the way. Gonna make me one, and gonna make me one sometime soon. Some neat ideas. I'll tell you. Yeah. I mean, really, this book is a kind of nice little. I would say this book over the other. Yeah, I would say this one over this one. There's a little more detailed information. Now, yeah, and it's funny how you can modify what you have, because what I want to do is I have a silver chain we don't wear, and I need to go out to the Mall of America, and I can actually get this be real silver. I can probably get everything to be real silver, even this piece. I can even probably pay to get a real silver, that piece real silver too. Now, I will probably lose this little ball, but I can get something else. I'll probably lose the little ball, but I can get something else to take that place for that. So it's like, because I just think real silver. And one thing with these is it's going to have a certain movement just because of your vibration too. Now, I know, like right now, I've got tons of crystals around here. I got a Himalayan lamp. It's a lot of energy back here. To probably get clear readings, I would probably want to be somewhere where there wasn't so much energy, because there's a lot of energy over here. And I've been doing my show over here, I think, going on 2 years now. So all the books and shit and the singing bowl. So there's a lot of energy back here. So if I was doing it for someone, I would want to be in another part of the house that the energy is not as amplified because there's a lot of energy back here. So, but yeah, it's a lot you can do with it. I mean, even just starting off, going yes, no, maybe. That's not bad. I mean, that's a good way to start off. Yes, no, maybe, and give you. And then, like, if you ever do think about the book, you can always go back to get something like that. There's even boards you can get, like these little um, the circles. You can get boards already made, and I imagine you could put the questions in. You know, if you have a few different possibilities, put the questions in. So okay, I made it for an hour. I went a little longer than I thought. Trying to think. Yeah, we're going to doctors tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the responsible daddy hour tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow late again. Yeah, and yeah, um, yeah, still working on stuff. Trying to make everything better. Still getting it together. That's all we can do. Mr. Lamborghini, hey, just picked up some geo crystals. I noticed that calmed me down. Yeah, like it's funny. I have a big chunk of amethyst. Well, I've got my amethyst cave in my room, but I got a big chunk that my Talalak, my shock character, sits on. But it's like, yeah, amethyst. Like when I say my prayer, and I like part of my prayer is I show them my higher self is me standing on a mountain. Well, I come out of the cave and I show them my lower self. And I think it's so easy for me to walk out of that cave just because it's in my room. And, I've worked with going into that amethyst. That's why I like those big things of amethyst. It's like, there's a movie they showed where they just showed like some blood curling kind of guts. And I don't even know how to describe it. But it was like I would look at that and they had a being able to go through that. And so when I first started seeing these big pieces of amethyst, I was like, I can push through that. I can, I just like, and that's what I would try to do every day is try to go in that cave every day. Just really, that's all I would concentrate on. And it's like, you can zoom through that shit. And it's interesting. It's quite an interesting experience. Um, but yeah, it's really fun. I mean, you can even just see how your own energy is moving. It will show you how your own energy is moving, and just another little voice of your spirituality. And again, it's going to move, kind of get used to seeing your rhythm too, because it takes the rhythm. What are you seeing? Like, what light are you seeing? Mm. Oh, I'll tell you, I didn't have to get my mouth shut up. When she was in there, she's like, "Oh, I'm not even going to use that on you." And then she starts drilling in my shit. And I'm like, "Oh, I got a high pain tolerance." But I'm like, "Oh," and nerve pain is different than like somebody just socking you. When they dealing with teeth, they just straight into a nerve. And it was like, but this is a place where I can do a few things, get my teeth taken care of better. Y'all take great care. Okay. Have a good evening. I'm about to stop it myself. Because I do have some things to do. Wake up and go to chiropractor. Wake up and get buzzed and then go to the chiropractor. And maybe I'll get acupuncture. Maybe I won't. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So, well, let me give you some positive words. Now, here it is. And I do give a little bit of the time walking information out. And they had a saying called Mora. And Mora was more of a saying, more of an idea. And so the Mora went like this. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had an exact number of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the Great Serpent or our galaxy. And as the mind would say, I am another yourself. So treat me the way you would treat yourself, because I am another yourself. So this is Big Pontiac, 8-win, Time Lord. And everybody say less. Everybody say less. Till we meet again.